Hello, everyone. Welcome to Otaku Talk. It's me, your boy, your host, OD, and we have a great chapter today. We'll be reviewing and analyzing chapter 1029 of One Piece. And boy, oh boy, was this a hype chapter. Man, Oda has been killing it. He has been killing it with Wano, the rooftop, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I still am one of those people that just loves all the prequel arcs, but literally just everything that's been happening these last couple hundred chapters has been insane. So anyway, if this is your first time on this channel, I would greatly appreciate it if you could like, share, subscribe. Just right now, go ahead and bang that like button, bang that bell, like. All right, guys, chapter 1029 of One Piece, The Tower. Man, there's so much to talk about in this chapter. First, let's start off with the cover art. Once again, if you're new to this channel, you might not know this, and if you are a regular to the channel, you know I'm not a big fan of the cover art. I think Oda is a phenomenal artist, and I love his shit. And occasionally it'll make me laugh or giggle or whatever. But if it's not a cover story, I don't really give a fuck. I really don't, unless it's like a favorite character of mine. But this was a really cool cover art. We have Jory Bonnie eating some, having a soba eating competition against some sea otters. Really cute, really adorable. You can use it as a wallpaper, or whatever. But if it doesn't relate to the story, then it's just some extra stuff to me. But if you want analysis, I think Tekking and Sawyer 7, they get into the cover arts. That's not gonna be me. I just really want to get into this chapter. So we start off the chapter where we left off, and that's the aftermath of Queen swinging his sword and breaking it against Sanji's face. Now, I knew this was gonna happen. I was really excited to see the comments and whatnot, and the aftermath. And what I thought would happen happened. There was a big war. A lot of people were upset. A lot of people think this might ruin Sanji's character. It's gonna have an effect on him. Personally, as someone who's Team Zoro, even though honestly at the end of the day, all the Straw Hats are awesome, and I love Sanji for who he is in his individual way. I don't really care. I honestly felt like Sanji needed a power up. How he was able to compete with people like Luffy and, well, not so much Luffy, but Zoro, who do nothing but nonstop train and want to keep up, is I keep telling people it's a testament to him himself. The fact that he can even hang on that level, everyone's like, oh, they're even, and I'm like, I don't want to take that away from him, because no matter what, you can always kind of find an argument. You can say Zoro's always injured, and Sanji doesn't fight people that are as strong as, it goes back and forth. But I think that no matter what side you fall on, you always have to show Sanji his respect, right? And so something I'm very happy that Oda clarified in this chapter is he, at the end of the other chapter, he's freaking out. He's like, I don't want to be a monster, right? And I think a lot of people just kind of assume that he doesn't want to be a monster in terms of he doesn't want to inherit the powers. He doesn't want to be like his siblings, but it's actually much deeper than that, right? It's not actually about being well, it is about being a German, but it's not actually about the enhanced durability, the regenerative powers, and the enhanced strength, which we got. So I feel like what Queen says when Queen says, oh, Judge told me about the humans with enhanced durability, regeneration, and strength enhancements. I think that was Oda's way of telling us, yes, Sanji is stronger. I know a lot of people have been talking about it and been like, I don't really think Sanji's any stronger. I think he's just durable. So I think this was Oda's way of saying, no, he got some strength enhancements too, which is really nice. But that's not what's important here. What's important here is what Sanji says, and what the Lasting Queen says about having a heart of ice. And I wonder how they'll change that translation in the actual Viz. But it's about losing his emotions, heart of ice, being an unfeeling monster, and that's the thing that connected him to his mom. As everyone knows, when his brothers were born, and I believe I've always been really confused on this, and I never did the research, but I'm almost positive they're quadruplets. I'm almost positive they're quadruplets. Anyway, when Sora was giving birth to them, she was taking these drugs. And I'm wondering if we'll ever get expositional what exactly the drugs were. Maybe it's coming up now with all of this happening. And I'm actually I'll get to that. I'm getting ahead of myself. Anyway, um she took these drugs to inhibit their powers. Unfortunately, you know, they got their powers. And from I went back in the chapter, and it doesn't seem like they were straight up born with them. It seems like at first they didn't have them, but then they started to display themselves. However, Sanji's never displayed themselves, or so we thought. There's even a panel where Judge is talking to, I guess, one of his fellow doctors, one of his fellow scientists who work for him, and it's like he had the genes, but then they disappeared. So they were always there. They were always latent, right? And so obviously the idea is Sanji has always said ever since that second time he put on the raid suit, his body felt different. Something felt up. And so there's this kind of theory that Judge set him up, sabotaged him, did something to the suit to awaken his powers. I don't really think that's the case. I think it's just more so along the lines of, hey, the raid suits are coded to the genetic code, aka the what's that shit called? The lineage factor of the kids, and like just whatever gene recognition, whatever bullshit it did, just kind of awoke that latent gene in him, that those latent abilities that were always there just hadn't manifested. And so I'm totally okay with this. But yeah, the thing is, this means a lot to Sanji because his mom died for this. This is what she died for. She died to keep him human. She felt like as long as her children didn't have emotions, they weren't human. That's why she was very, favoritive of Sanji, because without without emotions, you can't care, you can't love, you can't have compassion, you can't have sympathy. And so, that's what she died for. That's what Sanji's mom sacrificed herself for, to ensure that he didn't become a monster. And if he loses his emotions, then he'll become a monster in the eyes of the most important woman in his entire life, and that's his mom. So that really got to me. So anyway, Sunji runs off. He's trying to figure out exactly what the hell happened to him. How he's going to do that, I have no clue. He's not a scientist. So I wonder if he's going to run off the chopper. Honestly, the best person to kind of help him would be Queen. That would be cool if they could kind of force him. It's kind of cool. We kind of forget that Vegapunk is both a doctor and, like, I don't want to say a scientist, but like a mechanical genius as well. So it's like kind of like you have Chopper and Frankie fused into one almost. So he's just trying to piece together what caused this transformation in hopes of possibly reverting it, because if he has the durability, if he has the regenerative abilities, if he can what's the word I'm looking for, if he's stronger, then possibly the being emotionless will manifest next. But I think Oda is trying to secretly tell us that no, that's not going to happen to him because of two things. And this is actually something that really pisses me off in series when they do it, but I was okay with it in this instance. So something that happens in this chapter is Sanji is shot by I think three bullets, right, as he's running away. And the reason I said I hate when that happens is something that happens in comic books, shows all the time, is that when someone is invulnerable or has great regenerative abilities, for whatever reason, they lose all ability to dodge. I mean, sometimes they don't give a fuck, sometimes they don't care, they just tank stuff because they know they can tank it. But like something I've noticed is, like, for example, in like with Wolverine, every time I've read the Wolverine comics, anytime his power is in jeopardy, he loses his regenerative ability. Same with Deadpool. All of a sudden, they're able to dodge stuff with ease. Things that, like, they wouldn't have been able to dodge before because of plot. Like, now that getting hit is dangerous, I can't get hit. And I get it. Like, it raises the stakes. It has to be done. Obviously, they can't dodge everything, but like, I just know that there is no way in hell that realistically Sanji would ever be hit by the bullets of three fodder, like three nobodies. That would never happen. But I do understand, the reason I said I'm okay with this is I understand it was for story purposes. It was Oda's way of showing us something. Same thing with when Queen hit him with the sword, because I honestly, like, even though that makes a phenomenal panel. I can't even front. Makes a phenomenal panel, but to sit there and take that is fucking dangerous. Because what if Queen imbued his sword with Haki? Like there is the possibility that he still could have survived, but I don't know. That was a dangerous risk to take. Now I feel like maybe Sanji knew he was in danger. Maybe his observation Haki was activated. Blah blah blah. Also, you can argue that the reason he didn't dodge it was he was in such shock. He was in such shock because of like what he discovered what was happening. He was distracted. We can just chalk it up to anything. But like I said, normally I don't like that, but I understood it for one reason, and that was because he says it hurts. Something I noticed about Sanji's other siblings is whenever they were attacked, whenever they got damaged, they didn't show pain. Yes, they could be rendered, incapacitated and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, they didn't feel pain. That's the part that made them the perfect soldiers, the perfect like killing machines and whatnot, because they could take a licking and keep on ticking. That's what Judge loved about them. That's what made them so great, because at the end of the day, they would fight to the bitter end. Just like in Whole Cake, no matter what was happening to them, he just kept fighting until they're destroyed and cannot fight anymore. That's what makes them so great. And so they didn't feel in addition to their emotions, they didn't feel pain either. And it's very, very clear in this instance that Sanji is feeling pain. So Oda doesn't do anything, for no reason, just arbitrarily. So I do believe that's his way of saying, no, Sanji is still Sanji. Sanji is special, and this is part of what makes Sanji special. Now, of course, there is a chance that, his humanity is next, and if he uses the suit one more time, it can be taken from him. But I honestly do not think Oda is going that route. I would have that would give me a problem if he went that route. It just wouldn't make sense. The only way I could see him going that route is if it's really quickly overturned by like, I don't know, the love of his like crew companionship, or like a gag where he sees naked ladies and like his passion and his passion and whatnot and stuff like that just bursts out. He gets in those, I don't know, something snaps him out of it. That would be cool. That would be funny, where he's starting to lose himself, but the Sanji we know and love comes forth. That would be cool, but I really would kind of like us to stay away from that. Anyway, we switch back to the Law and Kid versus Big Mom fight, where Law is flaming Kid like I flame my ADCs that I'm supporting when they're playing like trash or look like they're trolling. Oh my, like I literally felt Law's pain in this moment, because Law was over here trying to hold his own against a motherfucking Yonko, and this dude is over here like on the ground at times, holding his head like, I have a headache, and like Law's like, get your shit together, like I can't fight her myself. On top of that, can cover you. So that part really, really cracked me up. It was hilarious. And Law is literally doing everything in his power to hold off Big Mom. And he even manages to land a counter shock on her, which is rather impressive. But then quickly he's attacked by Prometheus using an attack called Stolen Fire, Stolen Flame, which is another pun Oda used. And because a stolen or whatever, I believe, is a German pastry, and stolen fire is a reference to Prometheus, the mortal that stole fire from the gods and gave it to man. Or was Prometheus a god who did that? Basically, long story short, some dude took fire from the gods, gave it to man, and the gods were hating. That's essentially all you have to know. And so after landing that, she lands an attack on Kid. She does this super cool flip and then hits Kid with Napoleon. It's a named attack called Mama Raid, which is supposed to sound like marmalade. So another food pun, witty attack, right? And so this whole time, Kid is just having this massive headache. He has no clue what's going on. He's freaking out. He feels weak. And honestly, I don't really like Kid that much as a character. A lot of people do. I've never thought he was that interesting. The only thing that made me like Kid was the fact that he was like Luffy's rival, and I liked and appreciated that about him. But And also I hated the fact that he has this OP devil fruit that all he fucking uses for is to create a giant fist and punch stuff. Like how juvenile is that? Like Luffy has taken the Gumu Nomi and done incredible things with it, and this dude that could literally be this universe's Magneto just wants to make giant fists. So that pisses me off a little bit. But in this moment, I really did feel super bad for Kid, because like not only did he have to watch like Luffy ascend to new heights, and now he's like 1v1ing Kaido and using Conqueror's Haki, and like just literally in this fight growing and growing, and like he can literally see this guy that like, oh my god, this kid could become the Pirate King. This guy can do it. And this dude he kind of thought he was an equal to, and now he's here just pathetically on the ground. He has it's finally his moment, his chance to step up and fight a Yonko as well. And like this is what's happening. So honestly, in this moment, I truly felt bad for the kid. No pun intended. But yeah, Luffy's just been upstaging him, and this random affliction he's suffering from is just really making him pathetic. So luckily, we move to the next panel. It's Killer versus Hawkins. This was such a great fight, and I keep forgetting until I see him that Killer is afflicted by the Smile Fruit, which, by the way, such a sad story. I've said this in numerous reviews before, but it's very clear that like Killer and Kid are basically Luffy and Zoro and like the Straw Hat crew. If they weren't like if Luffy and them weren't loved by fate, and if things like kind of went wrong for them, like Kid with Kid losing his arm, and like Killer getting the Smile Fruit and stuff like that. And so basically Killer is like suffering from Joker gas syndrome, and while he's serious as hell and upset, he's just laughing from the Smile Fruit, fighting Hawkins. And the crew apparently has no clue what Hawkins' power is, because they're not understanding why Killer isn't fighting Hawkins. And I don't really understand why he couldn't just quickly say, "I can't fight him." His Delph Fruit ability transfers all the damage from I deal to him to Kid, but he suffers from anime shonen syndrome, where you can't explain shit to people real quick, so they have to be like they have to have a misunderstanding for whatever reason. And so Hawkins is basically projecting his insecurities onto Killer. He's like, "Man, if you give up now, I'll let you join the Beast Pirates. I'll put in a good word for you. I can't believe you guys thought you could step up to Kaido. He's a Yonko, yada yada yada. You guys never stood a chance." And like Killer pretty much calls him out on his shit, and he's like, "No, that's how you feel. You see us over here fighting for our own fate, fighting against everything, while you fucking follow your damn tarot cards." And by the way, I hate fortune tellers in series, right? Just as someone that was raised like Christian and all that stuff, I've always hated the idea of like uh predestination versus free will, because at the end of the if at the end of the day you're destined to do something, do you truly have free will? Which I know is a weird concept to hate, especially with the fact that it's becoming more evident and clear that Luffy does have some destiny elements to him. But I've always hated characters that rely on like just something telling them if they can or can't do something, because I kind of feel that way in my own life. And I'm trying to fight that. I really am trying to fight that, because it's like Killua in Hunter x Hunter, where he was always taught, if someone is stronger than you, just run. And Gon's like, "No, you stay there and you fight no matter what, because you never know." And there's another anime, I forget what anime it was. It might be like No Game No Life or something else, but one of the protagonists said, as long as your chances are greater than 0%, you have a chance, or as long as it's not 0%, you always have a chance. And I've tried to adapt that to my life. And when you are like Basil Hawkins and you just leave everything to fate and you just follow, like, this is the same reason I hate astrology and like, oh my God, Capricorns do this. Oh my God, Aquarius do this. I fucking hate that shit, because you're your own person. No fucking astrological signs. And people are like, but if you really look at that shit, like it's true. No, you can literally like, you can always exhibit some kind of aspect to something any time of the day, any situation you're in. So I just really love that this fight was set up, and it's kind of Killer just saying "F fate, I make my own." And I just love the irony of the fact that it turns out that like that prediction Hawkins made earlier was like against himself, kind of in a you played yourself moment. And so Hawkins basically tells him, oh, and like I said, another thing that make I really hate about Hawkins and what he's doing right now is it's total crabs in a barrel mentality. He couldn't stand up against Kaido. He didn't have the balls. He didn't have the willpower. He didn't have the tenacity to fight for what he believed in. He succumbed. He gave up. He gave in to Kaido, and now he feels like everyone else should because he did. Because in the slight chance that they can succeed, he's gonna look like a bum. Like, man, I really bitched out. I took the easy way out instead of fighting for my dream like these guys. So he feels like a bum, and he's trying to be a crab ass mother and pull these guys down. So that shit's weak sauce to me. Anyway, Killer keeps his calm, and actually, part of this kind of gives some truth to what people say about Killer kind of being a little bit of Zoro and Sanji. I always saw Killer as just, I always saw Kid. Actually, well, I'm gonna get that to the end, but yeah, I can see how with like the way he was thinking and how Sanji is pretty smart in fights, why people like can see Sanji in Killer as well as Zoro. But he's like, hey, I have a couple questions for you. One, what happens if I deal damage that cannot be distributed? And Hawkins is like, you know how my power works. Like, what are you talking about? And this, I was so happy that my prediction came right. But to be honest, I think this was pretty obvious. Everyone knew this was going to happen. If this didn't happen, I said it might be something along the lines of he doesn't attack strong enough to like kill the straw man or like inflict damage upon Basil that wouldn't kill Killer but might get rid of the straw. I was just thinking of loopholes and stuff like that. But basically, he cuts off the arm of Hawkins that corresponds to the arm Kid lost. I believe it's Kid's left arm. I can't remember for the life of me. But because Kid no longer has a left arm, thanks to Shanks coming in clutch, that future sight hockey, you know what I'm talking about, helping the homie out. Shanks knew. Shanks is like, you're going to thank me later. But I don't know. That shit just worked out. He cuts off Basil Hawkins' arm. So now Basil Hawkins is part of the elusive, illustrious one arm gang, gang, gang. So that shit was fucking dope. That shit had me geeking. I was like, yeah, bitch, that's what you deserve. So I was super hyped for that. And so then he was like, this part kind of blew me because I was like, I thought it was kind of random how the straw man kind of appeared perfectly in that army cut off. But if I destroy this, and I think it's where that if you destroy the straw man, it doesn't direct damage either. But he was able to destroy the straw man, which in turn ended the Delph ability on Kid, and so now Kid can fight, and that jaunt was amazing. And then it seemed, Kid launches another attack where he makes that giant scarecrow straw man thing, but Killer jumps up in the air, easily dispatches of it, and then appears to cut Hawkins. Now, I was thinking because of the whole conversation they had where he was like, hey, how many of these do you have left? And he was like, that's my last one. That implies, he doesn't have any more lives, and this one would directly kill him. Hawkins has been shown to be extremely weak, not durable at all. So I was like, maybe he's dead, but this is One Piece, so I highly doubt it. But one can dream, right? And so something that really happens, like probably the most low-key important thing of this chapter is the final card that Hawkins draws before he dies, and that is the image of the tower. And they tell us it's juxtaposed against Killer and Kid, and basically we're told that the tower card basically represents upheaval of the established order and an opening of a new path. And while panning to a now liberated Kid, we see Killer believing in his captain. This shit was actually kind of heartfelt and telling him to go for it, partner. And I got such Luffy Zoro vibes. Like they remind me of like the discount Luffy and Zoro. Like Kid and Killer clearly are the like Wario and Waluigi to Luffy and Zoro's Mario and Luigi, right? So I thought that was super dope, super cool. Honestly, I really like Killer more than Kid, which is kind of screwed up. But I want to talk more about that tower card. I decided to Google the tower tarot card, and something you'll notice, by the way, is the top of the tower looks a lot like a crown. And so, like, the Yonko are the emperors. They are these like ruling figures. And so to see like a crown toppling in and of itself is, that image is very, very foreshadowing. But anyway, these are just some notes I wrote down about the that specific tarot card. And it says basically, when the tower card appears in a tarot reading, expect the unexpected. Massive change, upheaval, destruction, and chaos. There's no escaping it. Change is here to tear things up, create chaos, and destroy everything in its path. And then in parentheses, but trust me, it's for your highest good. And by the way, I was wondering, who does this card represent? Because are the cards for him? Are the cards for others? Because this could represent Hawkins if he's not dead. This could represent Killer and Kid. This could represent Luffy. And this could represent the entirety of the One Piece world. So I found this to be really interesting. But anyway, I'll continue. Just when you think you're safe and comfortable, a tower moment hits and throws you for a loop. A lightning bolt of clarity and insight cuts through the lies and illusions that you've been telling yourself. And now the truth comes to light. Your world may come crashing down before you in ways you never could have imagined, as you realize you have been building your life on unstable foundations. Now, this kind of more so seems along the lines of Hawkins. False assumptions, mistruths, illusions, blatant lies, and so on. Everything you thought to be true has turned on its head. You are now questioning what is real and what is not, what you can rely on and what you cannot trust. This can be very confusing and disorienting, especially when your core beliefs are challenged. But over time, you will come to see that your original beliefs were built on a false understanding, and your new belief system are more representative of reality. After a tower experience, you will grow stronger, wiser, more resilient, and you develop a new perspective on life you didn't even know existed. So this could go for Hawkins. Like, maybe after this he'll be a changed person. Maybe he'll get his will. Maybe he'll decide to fight for himself. Maybe he'll just fucking throw tarot cards away, even though it'd be ironic because this is the tarot card that like made him do that. But it could also represent Kid and Killer turning. Like, this could be his moment. Like, Kid has that expression of like he's ready to get in this fight. I'm ready to see things from him. I want to see him possibly use Conqueror's Hockey. Like, if this is someone that's truly supposed to be a rival to Luffy in a way, not quite a foil like Blackbeard, but like a kind of a rival, then this could be him, or it could just be Luffy himself, because he's really about to topple this grand order. So anyway, this chapter fucking phenomenal. I loved it. Oda's a genius. He did a great job. I love that. I don't think there appears to be a break next week, so I'm super excited. How did you guys feel about this chapter? How do you guys feel about Sanji? How do you think he's going to use the raid suit in this fight at all, or do you think he's going to beat Queen without it? How do you think he's going to find out information about his transformation? Do you think he's going to go to Chopper? Do you think he's going to Frankie maybe? I don't know. I feel like this might be more of a Chopper thing. Caesar, yeah, Caesar's not around right now, so he can't go to Caesar. So that's interesting. Do you think Killer's done for now? Do you think Killer's gonna have any relevancy later? Do you think Hawkins is dead? How do you think this fight with Kid and Law is gonna go? Do you think Kid is gonna unlock Conqueror's Hockey or some other, or do you think he's just gonna awaken his Devil Fruit and finally do something other than make a giant metal fist? And yeah, man, I think that's about it. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in to this review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I appreciate each and every one of you. Please like, share, and subscribe. Would mean the world to me. And yeah, have a great day. Take care. Peace.